It's the weekend. It's Michael Snyder. He's out on the left coast of the United States. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Alex. Greetings from movie and television land, and we got a mixed bag of new movies to review. You want to get to it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, as ridiculously over the top as it is, John Wick 2 is not John Whack. In fact, I may have loved the first John Wick film a little more, but John Wick Chapter 2, again starring Keanu Reeves as an indestructible but easily wounded and bruised super hitman, is so much fun. I mean, it's almost like an American version of one of those Jackie Chan Hong Kong martial arts cop movies. And Wick may be the most perfect role of Reeves' career since he played a gay hustler in My Own Private Idaho. He doesn't have to say much here. He just has to prowl around like an angry, wounded panther and run like a cheetah, killing any who would dare to attack him. The gunplay and the hand-to-hand combat are ferocious throughout the film, and the movie spans the globe from New York City's Washington Square Park to a rave at the Coliseum in Rome, and Wick is on the run from a mob boss who hired him for a hit and then put a bounty on his head. Essentially, Wick is caught in a battle for control of the International Assassins Guild, whose rules and regulations for proper behavior among killers are upheld by an official named Winston, who lives in comfort and luxury, but is serious about every murderous psychopath being held to a standard. As in the first Wick, Winston is played by the great Ian McShane of Deadwood, Game of Thrones, Ray Donovan, Scoop, etc., with his usual aplomb. John Leguizamo, Lance Reddick, and Bridget Moynihan are also back in one form or another from Wick 1, and Wick 2 is upgraded by brief but effective appearances by Thomas Sadoski, Common, Peter Stormare, Franco Nero, of all people, and especially Lawrence Fishburne as a sort of criminal kingpin of a horde of shabby, grungy, homeless assassins in New York's Bowery. Watch yourself when you go down to the Bowery, Alex. It's obviously filled with grungy assassins. Anyway, it's Reeves at the center of things, a terse cross between a killing machine and a punching bag, breaking necks, stabbing heads, stabbing necks and guts, and popping caps into most everybody he encounters. John Wick 1 director Chad Stahelski and writer Derek Kolstad are back in charge here yet again, and they nailed it. I enjoyed this, as ridiculous as it was. Okay, speaking of fun and lunacy, the Lego Batman movie spins out a feature devoted to one of the breakout characters from the Lego movie, the toy version of DC Comics' Dark Knight superhero, Batman. As such, it's just the latest repurposing of an intellectual property that has spawned the likes of Christopher Nolan's Batman movie trilogy, Batman the Animated Series, the Tim Burton Batman films, and, of course, the non-continuity weirdness of the TV show Gotham. As you probably know, the Lego movie was the animated hit feature that brought the little Tinker Toy figures and interlocking Lego plastic building blocks of childhood to life via animation. Full disclosure, not a Lego guy, never was as a kid. Still, I thought that film was a metatextual blast, clever and amusing and loaded with laughs and heart and in-jokes. The fact that I didn't like the design of the characters notwithstanding. But the spin-off, centering on a brooding Lego Batman, though also jammed with gags and blessed by more sophisticated animation, is all over the map. It's about the need for the smug, purportedly infallible loner hero Batman, a.k.a. Bruce Wayne, to realize and accept that he needs to let others, such as Alfred the Butler and the orphan boy who would be Robin, a.k.a. Wayne's young ward Dick Grayson, into his life and into his battle against the Joker and other members of the Gotham City criminal empire, with mixed results. Anyway, the voice cast is solid. Will Arnett as Batman, Michael Cera as Robin. In fact, I prefer not seeing Michael Cera's face on screen. Ralph Fiennes as Alfred. Zach Galifianakis as the Joker, and so on. And I loved a few of the homages. Look, I mean, I know it's meant as a comic romp, but in a barrage of gags, 1 out of 5 jokes worked for me. So it's overstuffed, its internal logic is sometimes faulty, and where the Lego movie was like this nonstop blast, this gets tedious here and there. Nonetheless, means well, and it's a good time for about half of its 90 minutes. 50 Shades of Grey, the novel and movie adaptation, were a pretty weak sauce, a soccer mom's view of kink. Super wealthy, dominant Christian Grey lures innocent college girl Anastasia Steele into his web of pervy antics. Call it S&M light, no welts, no cutting, no sweat. But the first film's success meant an inevitable sequel based, I assume, on a second book in the 50 Shades series, not the sort of stuff I spend my weekends reading. Thus, we have 50 Shades Darker, with Jamie Dornan, much better in the Irish TV crime series The Fall, back here as Mr. Grey, and Dakota Johnson, hey, much better in the great 2016 movie mystery A Bigger Splash, back as Ms. Steele. This one is more like 50 Shades of Soap, as the movie opens with Anastasia having rejected Christian to go her own way, rising in the ranks at a Seattle publishing house. But Christian can't live without his sweet little subby, so he actually begs to get her back and is willing to renegotiate their relationship. As it turns out, Anastasia still likes a good spanking, so there you go. And we're off. Alas, her boss at the book company has the hots for her, and a weird girl appears to be stalking her, further complicating matters. I can't believe the director of this is James Foley, who brought us top-notch movies including At Close Range, After Dark by Sweet, and Glengarry Glen Ross. Oddly enough, all from the 80s and 90s. Anyway, he also has done recent episodes of House of Cards and Billions. He's a good director, but ultimately 50 Shades Darker is 50 Shades of Dull. Spoiler alert, it's all a setup for a third movie, complete with previous escapades being kind of resolved, I assume. I don't know. Anyway, the scenes are tacked on to the end of this one, and I'm almost certain that my review of the next one will be 50 Shades Snarkier. This was not a good film. From Ama Asante, the director of the wonderful period movie Belle, comes A United Kingdom, a docudrama romance that's like a British equivalent to Loving, last year's impressive Oscar-nominated film about a barrier-breaking and controversial American interracial marriage. The difference is that real-life relationship between Seretse Khama, the King of Botswana, and Ruth Williams, a London office worker, as depicted in the United Kingdom movie, set off an international crisis in the late 40s after the couple met and fell in love when Seretse was at university in the UK. Their marriage set their families, his tribe, and 3 governments into a tizzy, as the riches of Botswana's natural resources were highly coveted by both England and South Africa. So nobody wants these guys to be together. It's all dramatized here, with exceptional performances by David Oyelowo of Selma as Seretse, and Rosamund Pike as Ruth. Rosamund Pike's been in a lot of cool films, and she's even the voice of Lady Penelope on the new Thunderbirds cartoon. Anyway, they're both magnificent, and you gotta root for them unless you're a racist a-hole. This movie also features Jack Davenport of TV's Coupling and Pirates of the Caribbean, and Tom Felton of the Harry Potter movies and late of the Flash TV show as 2 colonialist bastards, British officials, trying to bring down the loving couple. Anyway, A United Kingdom is uplifting and noble and sweet. Land of Mine is yet another powerful drama inspired by actual events. In this historical movie from Denmark that is a foreign film Oscar nominee this year, a group of German POWs at the end of World War II are forced by their Danish captors to remove 2 million landmines that the German army planted on the coast of Denmark. And they have to dig them up with their bare hands. It's a shoe on the other foot situation, as a Danish officer now has a chance to torment these young soldiers who were part of the Third Reich's army, although, like many soldiers, they were just doing the bidding of their commanders. None of it seems particularly fair insofar as the war was over, and maybe these kids should have been repatriated, not thrown into this horrible circumstance. Then again, what do I know about the Geneva Convention, which these days seems like an afterthought? In any event, it's tense, like the classic Wages of Fear, as something or someone could blow up at any moment. And it's thoughtful regarding the morality of the task, not to mention the limits and nature of revenge. Written and directed by Martin Zandvliet, it's a disturbing and provocative movie that's beautifully acted by the cast, and it's a story shot in stark, bleak fashion that needed to be told. Land of Mine left me drained by the end of it. Let's wrap it up with Kedi. I loved Kedi, K-E-D-I, which apparently, I think it's Turkish for kitty. Anyway, it's a delightful documentary about the cats that roam the streets of Istanbul and some that live with their human friends. and have done so since the days of the Ottoman Empire, when the great ships with their rat-killing cats on board sailed in and out of the Turkish port. I guess at the time many of the cats jumped ship, and thus was a pride born, one that grew and grew over the centuries to the point where there are now hundreds of thousands of cats wandering everywhere. Some have made stores or restaurants their territory and feeding ground. Others are at home in apartments. Many of them are cared for by people and willingly interact. Some of the cats are loners left to the alleys and abandoned buildings of the city. In all cases, the cuteness factor is massive. The city is lovely through the film director, Seda Turan, who manages to get up close and personal with the felines and the men and women who love them and do these little brief interviews. There's even cat cam for that kitty's eye view of Istanbul. Really, the adorableness is out of control. Kitty. That's it on movies. What do you got? Have you seen anything? Are you watching some Tube?
Yeah. I am besmitten, if that's the term, by Legion.
Legion. Oh my God! Adapted from the Marvel Comics character, who is purportedly the son of Professor X, but maybe not in this TV version.
Forget about all that bullshit. This thing is beyond that. This thing is so well done, so well accomplished, that it is, I think, the best new TV show out there. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It's about a mutant schizophrenic named David, regardless of whether his parentage is that of Professor X. And it's actually done by the creator of the Legion TV show. The Fargo TV show. Am I right?
Noah Hawley. Right.
Yeah.
And stars
Dan Stevens of Downton Abbey. I really can't wait to see this. I haven't had a chance yet.
He is so transparent. You can't. It took us a while to realize it was Dan Stevens. I mean, he's American, got an American accent. He's not light-haired; he's dark-haired, and he just falls into this character so well that it took us a while to go. I know that guy, and I looked it up, and it was Dan Stevens of Downton Abbey.
You're saying at no point does he say "pip pip cheerio"?
No. It's a great show. It's masterfully done. Okay. And that sure. And for the first hour, and it's about an hour and 10 minutes long without commercials. For the first hour or so, you're wondering where it's going, and then finally you find out where it's going by the end of the first episode. But it really terrific, and it's not my new go-to show.
Available on FX, and again, I'm going to get to it soon. Sounds great.
You should get to it really soon. You'd really like it, Anyway, that's it for tonight, or today, or morning, or whenever you're listening. And tell them where they can find you, Michael.
I'm at Culture Blaster on Twitter. You can follow me there. And also Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page on Facebook, where you can hear me and Alex and read articles and have your way, everybody.
And, of course, you can always hear him here on weekends as GABNet continues.